How's it going, everyone? It is Wednesday, September 12th, 2018, new comic book day, and this is Ash on Comics. I'm Ash. This is my In and Out weekly comics pull list where I eat a burger off screen and go through the comics that I got this week. So, first thing, let's unbox this bad boy here and see what I got. Oh, nice. They even laid it down. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So here's a little sneak peek at the comics I got today from the publishers. Get that out of here. See if I can... See, that is encouragement for me to keep the video short. The longer I do the video, the longer I gotta wait to have lunch. So, here's my comics. Just got back from the store. Here's my receipt. Something SJWs never have are receipts, whether they're literal or figurative. I buy comics. They always want to tell me I don't buy comics. Oh, you guys don't buy comics. No, we're the only ones that buy comics. You guys go on YouTube and watch Comics Explained and Comic Storian and sit around in your little online Twitter sphere and sit there and get all insular with each other and pat each other in the back about how you're the best thing since sliced bread while the industry you propose to support crumbles around you. All right, appropriate. Came out on a Wednesday. Alterna Comics. Yeah. And today's issue. So they're actually on number 2. I was happy that they had number 1 still on the shelf. Looking forward to really supporting Alterna Comics. It's interesting. Alterna Comics, I had heard about, checked it out a little bit when my boy Zach featured them months and months ago. Checked it out because I was like, I kind of like what they're doing. I like the whole $1.50 an issue, Couldn't find anything really in my style. Didn't know anything about the company, so I had no reason to necessarily want to support them. So I was like, whatever, they're just a small-time publisher doing their thing. Their shit doesn't look good to me. Move along. Never thought about them again. Until SJWs tried to slam them. And anytime an SJW is against something, that tells me I should be paying attention to it. So I did, and then I saw what they were doing, how it was worse than I could have imagined. And so I paid attention even closer. And I really wanted to support this guy, Peter Simeti, who I think is a great asset to the industry, which is something I support. It's more than just comics to me. Comics as a hobby, as an industry, people, community have done a lot of things for me in my life. That's important to me. So while my primary thing is reading fun comics, that's the primary thing. I also care about giving back. I care about supporting good creators, good comic book stores, and keeping the industry as positive and healthy as we can in what little I can contribute. So I'm so happy to support Peter Simeti. Even if the comic is mediocre, I'd rather have a mediocre comic from someone I love supporting than a mediocre comic from a garbage company that doesn't give shit about me. All right, what do we got next? Flash. Those that have watched my videos before know that I don't actually read Flash, although I'm gonna. This is for my friend's little daughter, who I'm encouraging to read comics. She likes Flash, so I'm saying, cool. I am more than happy to get you a comic that I'm proud of you reading, and it's not like Marvel Rising or some of the crap. You know what's funny? They make this stuff. They say, oh, it's for kids. The kids don't want that. This little kid, 9-year-old girl, does she want that? No. She wants Flash. Why? It's not a girl character. Everything that they want to tell you about, like, oh, the kids need something I did, it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. All right. Yeah, I've been telling people I'm going to drop Superman, and it's not on my pull list. Superman number 3, which if you follow me on Twitter at all, I sent out a tweet the other day about my predictions about this comic. We'll see if that comes true. Yeah, I'm sort of on the fence now. I'm in a holding pattern. I'm kind of buying them, and I can just drop it at any time. These books they're not offensively bad the way Marvel Comics are. Bendis has talent. These are disappointingly bad, if that makes sense. This is a talent who's just phoning in stuff. This is DC, who has given way too much creator control and handed off too much power in the form of zero editing to a guy who does not have his heart set in it. This guy is not bringing his A game, and DC is getting taken, and I feel bad. The books themselves have moments of like, oh, I can see that you are a skilled, talented writer, and then other moments where I can see, and you goofed off all week and waited till the last minute to do your homework. So, it's just... yeah, anyways, I've been picking up this cover. Look at this cover. This is so... I only picked this up because, I think, what's his name, Mackie? Did the other 2 covers I picked up that were kind of cool, but this one just looks so pretentious. This just looks like his other books, the Jinx World books, where they just like, you look on the shelf and it screams, coffee shop snobbery. Just, oh my God. Anyways, I'll be doing a review of Superman for sure. And in fact, that's one of the reasons I convinced myself to buy it, because as much as I don't enjoy the book, I really do enjoy reviewing them. Detective Comics 988. Sad, no more Brian Hill. And I told myself I'm only going to pick up the issues that aren't Brian Hill, because I don't really like what Detective Comics is doing. But then Brian Hill did something interesting and sort of wrote out the Bat Family out of Detective Comics in a very clever way for DC to maneuver the Bat Family into Batman and the Outsiders, which is upcoming, written by Brian Hill, which I'm going to buy, even though I don't like the Bat Family, because Brian Hill proved himself so good. And that's a case of like, look, again, I get accused of just not reading comics. I'm accused of not being open-minded. No, it's not the case at all. Brian Hill, who does not share my politics, does not share my skin color, wrote a comic that I love. Now I fully support the guy. I follow him on social media. Convinced me that something I normally would be prejudiced against to like and give him more of a shot, and now I end up supporting it. I'm sorry. I deal with SJW people on social media all the time spreading lies, and then when I do these videos, start talking about it, all these emotions kind of swell up. All right, Hawkman number 1. I didn't buy Hawkman number 1 when it came out. This obviously is a back issue. It was still on the new release shelf. It was the only issue of number 1 on the release shelf, and I really wish it had that sweet alternate cover. But with the pending Superman books being dropped from me, and then of course I'm losing 2 Green Lantern books, and then I'm losing Immortal Men. DC basically says, well, what does Ash collect? Yeah, like put that on the cancellation block. So I need something to replace it. And Venditti seems one of the best writers in town right now. Kind of prejudiced against Hawkman, but I've learned that, as we just talked about, sometimes prejudices are stupid, and you can be converted the other way around. If you give something a fair shake, no one has anything bad to say about this book. Nobody. I like Robert Venditti, so I'm going to try it. I wish they had that alternate cover for this. God, I was stupid, but snooze, you lose. At least I got this. They had nothing in the back issue, man. This is the only issue at all, like as far as number 1, and I think that just got missed when they pulled them. But fortunately enough, let's see. So on today's shelf was the new Hawkman number 4. Picked that up. Also on the recent release wall had Hawkman number 3 and Hawkman number 2. I was really stoked. These were kind of like helped deal breakers too. I saw that they had all the full art covers left. And I was like, I just grab them. Don't wait any longer. They'll be gone. These covers are sick. Look at these. Sorry for the glare. I mean, just, the camera does not do these justice. So, 4 issues. They should be fun. Hawkman was just recently featured in Unexpected number 4 at the very end. So that'll be cool, because I don't really know much about Hawkman, and now he's in one of the comics I read. I'll get to hopefully learn more about the mythos and the lore, and maybe have a new character I like. We'll see. Alright, speaking of characters. This is a book, first of all, look at this full art. Look at that cover is gorgeous. This is a book I'd committed not to getting any of the alternate art covers. I do like the standard, trade dress of comics, but DC's been doing this, so how can I resist? But I said, you know what, with Red Hood, I'm just going to commit to the old school. And this book came out, and they put this copy in my pull by mistake. Then I looked at the other copy, and I was like, oh, you know what? Here's a new direction with Red Hood. Maybe it's time to switch over symbolically. I don't think I'm going to like this new direction. This whole, we got rid of the Outlaws, and now it's Red Hood. Super Edgelord, as my boy Trajan. By the way, shout out to Trajan. If you don't watch his channel, he's kind of the inspiration of why I do this. He does it better than me. But, yeah. Super Edgelord, Red Hood, with an actual hoodie. I don't care that this wasn't an actual hood, that it was more like a mask. It's not the point. It was a great costume design. It was iconic. Hopefully it's just one of those temporary things, like when Superman went all blue lightning. Oh, so beautiful. All right. Now, a moment of silence. The best thing to come out of DC's New Age of Heroes was DC's version of X-Men, and they canceled it after book 4. Even though it's selling almost as well as actual X-Men. DC is disappointing me. You have to commit. You can't release brand new stuff, especially with 8 other books competing with it. More than that. I mean, there's only eight New Age Heroes books, but that doesn't even count like New Hawkman, New Justice League Dark. I'm not even remembering. I'm sure there's other things that they release number 1s as well. People cannot look, I'm doing the Zach thing. People cannot afford to get everything. And they're not going to be wowed by these characters necessarily that they don't know. So if you start throwing characters that they do know to compete, they're going to sacrifice the stuff that they haven't been invested in. That's this. Like any sapling, you have to nurture it and let it grow before it gets strong roots. Anyways, this is disappointment. I'm ranting. I'm sad. I'm really sad. This was a mistake for DC to do. And then they're keeping other books that you're like, well, I don't understand. And then finally, Oblivion Song, number 7. Yeah, what can I say? I gotta go indie sometimes. Robert Kirkman delivers. Look, Skybound. Pay attention to that. Don't pay attention to this. Pay attention to that. Skybound should just be its own comic book company. Because everything that they do is at worst good. At worst. The Image is just sort of a printing logo. These guys could go on their own. Walking Dead carries Image. God, I would love, except for that Robert Kirkman's a partner of Image. And I guess it's the one smart thing that Image has done is bringing him as a partner, because otherwise he would just walk. Yeah, if you like, something different. I'm a huge superheroes comic guy. I love big shared universes, the big two. I prefer Marvel over DC. From a universe standpoint, I like the characters better, but DC is just knocking it out of the park. I mean, right now, if I had to compare the two, DC would be like Christopher Nolan's Batman, and Marvel would be like Dolph Lundgren Punisher. Fantastic Four movie. I mean, it's just terrible. So if I'd rather have characters I like a little bit less, but are 10 times better written and drawn. It's just no argument. But I also like sci-fi. I like some indie stuff, particularly sci-fi is my genre. Oblivion Song. I was collecting Verses. Didn't know it was only a 5-issue series. That bummed me out. It's pretty cool. But this one's ongoing, and I'm collecting Die, 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 which is not sci-fi, but you can see my reviews of that. I haven't done reviews of this, and I feel really bad. I think I'm going to just do like an overview video on this. Let me know if this is something you'd like to see to get to know. But the thing about it is, there's like spoilers and stuff, and this is kind of one of the books you want to read, and like things unfold. And if I go through it, and you get the story, I don't know. So yeah, that's it. It's about 16-minute mark. Not in and out as fast as I wanted, but it was a big week for me. My store doesn't carry Alterna comics except for that came out on a Wednesday. They got in a whim for whatever reason. But I did order Blood Realm, Exilium, what's the other one? Eden, and the 12. So those are now on my pull list. They're going to try to find the copies that came out this week and last week that they didn't get to put them for me, and going forward. So I am now officially an Alterna subscriber. And you saw before that I picked up all The Wicked and the Righteous. I have not had a chance to read them yet. So go Alterna. I'm so glad that SJWs tried to ruin you and ended up greenlisting you instead. And greenlisting, in case you haven't heard, is the concept where it's like you try to blacklist someone, but you end up making them a bunch of money instead, hence the green. So they tried to hurt him, and instead they just made him a bunch of money. And I just love to laugh at them. We should all laugh at them. We should stop trying to be so mean. I understand a lot of us are mad. I feel a lot of the ways you guys do. And it's easy to just be like, F you, whatever. I get that you feel that way. But when you have people on the sidelines, innocent bystanders, the problem is when you behave that way, they only see the animosity. They don't understand the root cause. They don't empathize with your feeling. They just go, wow, those guys are a bunch of assholes. And then they join the side of the SJWs. And the SJWs, of course, continue to lie about us and what we feel. So it just plays into that. And then they may not have anything against Comicsgate, but we pushed them into it because there was lies. Then we conformed to those lies by our behavior. And these people aren't invested enough to go look and, examine everything for themselves. So think about that when you're behaving. I can't control what anyone does. I'm not trying to. But just if you care about Comicsgate, care about good comics, think about that. It's not just about the person you're fighting against. It's about all the people on the sidelines watching. And so what I encourage instead, maybe instead of, just being hostile, just laugh. Watch them as they trip and make mistakes and mock it and just be like, ha ha, he made us a bunch of money. Ha ha, this book's doing great. Not in a vindictive, mean laugh, because that just comes across the same way, but it's just like, silly, like it's just ridiculous. I laugh it off. So anyways, that's all I had to say. Sorry I kept rambling. Hope that you got something valuable. Hope you cared about hearing the words come out of my mouth. Hope you care about burgers. Look at that gigantic lemonade. So I'm going to eat a burger, sip some lemonade, read some comics. Hope you're having a good new comic book day. Leave your comments below, and bye-bye.